Okay, so I have just got home from having coffee with someone I haven't seen in ages. For the purposes of the story coming up, I'm gonna call him Joey. So, I went to Legendary Donuts because I wanted some coffee and I wanted a donut. They have these new Girl Scout donuts, amazing. And this guy was in there just sitting down, I guess waiting for, he had like a big order of donuts that he was getting, probably for a party or something, who knows. So, I saw him, I'm like, you look familiar. And he's like, hey, it's you. You know, I haven't seen you in years. And I'm like, I haven't seen you either. Like, you just disappeared one day. And he's like, yeah, man, I didn't take the bus anymore after that incident. And I'm like, incident? What incident? So, sorry, I'm doing laundry and that threw me off because I was hearing noises. Anyway, so I'm like, what incident? He's like, what do you mean, what incident? Incident, you don't remember when that guy came up the street, that drunk guy? I was like, oh, Joey, are you serious? I remember the whole thing. You know what? Let me get my coffee. Let's sit down. And I need to fill you in on what happened after he left. This is gold. And I don't know what made me forget this story because it was just comedic gold. Like, it was great. It's not like it was a traumatic experience or anything either. It was just hilarious. So it's like, oh my gosh, things like this happen to me all the time. So I'm just going to tell the whole story, start to finish, because I don't ever want to forget it again. But this particular day, let's start from like the beginning. Like, I wasn't even supposed to be driving that day. I had a job at the school. Green River is where I went for community college at this time. And I didn't work there all the time. It was like every other day. So it was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And it was just in the middle of the week. So it's a Wednesday. And there's just a lot of shady people at the transit center after a certain time. And normally on the days that I work, it'll be after my last class. So it was dark by the time I got home. So instead of taking the bus, I went ahead and I drove. I had a Land Rover at the time, so I didn't mind. So, but this particular day, my boss, the teacher that I worked for, she had told me the day before that there was going to be like this field trip thing that her class was going to, and it was going to be an all-day thing. So basically, I didn't have to come into work that day. Fine, totally fine. I normally have two classes on that day as well. One of them in the morning. It was like it's like an 8 o'clock class, and then one of them in the afternoon, which is why I usually got home late. It was like at 5. It was like a 5 o'clock class, so there's a big chunk of time in between. But I usually fill that with like going and trying to get other work done, and just trying to be a good student. Anyway, I had gotten an email that morning that said that my last class was going to be canceled for whatever reason. The teacher wasn't showing up, just something. He just wasn't coming. So I'm like, okay, cool. I only have one class, but now I have a dilemma. Because normally I would drive to school, because I'll be getting home late. And now that I only had one class that day, it was a 45-minute class too. So it was just like, wow. But I was going to go anyway. So I either drove, because I was only going to be there for 45 minutes, and just have to turn around and come right back, or I can go ahead and take the bus and the whole way, because once I would get out of that class, it would be just in time for me to catch the last bus that ran on the 30-minute schedule before I had to sit there for 2 hours to catch the next bus. So basically, I had just gotten like this new video game for my PSP. I couldn't afford a Vita, so I had a PSP, and I wanted to play it. So like, I'll go ahead, I'll take the bus, and I'll have time in between so I can just play this Vita while I wait for the bus. And so I took the earlier bus because I also wanted some coffee. I was gonna go get an iced coffee from McDonald's, so I took the earlier bus, walked to go get my coffee from McDonald's, and instead of going to the transit center, there's a bus stop that's like right there that I can catch the bus. So I was gonna do that. Little did I know that I should have just drove this day. Like, I really should have just drove, because the bus was 20 minutes late to even take me to school. So I was a little annoyed about that because I'm like, great, bus is 20 minutes late. That means I'm going to be about 10-15 minutes late for class. And class is only 45 minutes. But I'm like, okay, I'm still going to go because I already got up. I'm awake. I'm just going to go to school. So I waited. Bus came. There was no crap in between that. And the bus stop was actually pretty close to that class. It was only like a 2-3 minute walk from the bus stop to get to the class. It wasn't like my other class, which is like clear across the campus. So I got off the bus once we got to school. I jetted over to that class and I see a bunch of people just standing out there, right? It had turned out for this class, once I got there, the people were standing out there because someone had just came to put a note on the door that said that class was canceled. The professor never even showed up. So I'm like, are you serious? Like, I was pretty upset because, like, I didn't even have to wake up early that day. I'm not a morning person. So I really would have preferred to just stay at home. So I basically made this whole trip for nothing. So I'm like, okay, I can actually, well, I thought I was going to be able to catch the bus I had just got off of, but I just remembered, oh yeah, that bus was late. So as soon as he got there, he picked up who was ever like sitting there at the bus stop and then took off. So I still had to wait like 30 minutes. This was going to be the longest 30 minutes ever because so much crap went down. Oh my gosh. So I just calmly walk over and I'm just going to sit at this bus stop, just chill, play my PSP. Joey had just arrived there. I don't know what was going on that day because his morning class ended up getting canceled too. So he was gonna go, because he never takes this bus either. So, but he was gonna go and catch this bus so he can go spend 3 hours or whatever down at the mall. He was a biker, so there used to be like this really nice motorcycle shop over there, right down the hill. So he was gonna go do something there before his afternoon class because he still had to go to that. So yeah, he was filling his time. So we sat there, we talked for a minute, and it was almost time for the other bus that we were waiting for. It had just pulled up, so it was like 10 minutes early, which was really cool. Because the particular bus driver that drove this bus, he will actually, like, especially if it's cold, it was kind of rainy that day. So when he sees that, he's one of those bus drivers like, oh, he's not gonna just sit in the bus and let us sit outside until it's time for us to go to load. So he would normally like let us in and sit there until it was time to go. So we were waiting for him to do that. But because he was early, he's like, hey, I'm gonna go run to the bathroom real fast, and when I come back, I'll let you guys sit on the bus because it's cold out here. We're like, okay, cool. So he goes and he walks over to the bathroom. But he was taking a while, but we'll figure that out later. Meanwhile, as soon as he goes to the bathroom, we see this guy walking up the hill. And he's like kind of being super loud. He has his brown bag in his hand. He's swinging it around and just being loud. And we could tell he was drunk. So we're like, okay, he's drinking something. Later on, we figure out it's like this huge, like the big bottle of Jim Beam. This dude was wasted. So he goes to the bus. He's like, oh, the bus is here. The bus is here. I gotta go. I gotta go. I got a meeting. I gotta go. I gotta go. And we're like, well, the bus driver went to the bathroom. He'll be back in a little bit. You know, it's not time for us to go. We have like 10 minutes before, you know, he has to start loading the bus. He's like, no, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go now. I got a meeting. I gotta go. And we're like, okay, well, there's nothing anybody can do. He's like, no, it's okay. It's okay. I gotta go. And Joey's like, okay, he gotta go. So me and Joey like are just making light of the situation. It was hilarious because this dude was just like weird out of his mind, just being loud. And so he walks up to the bus and he starts like banging on it, like all like different angles, just banging on the bus. And eventually he bangs on something and the door actually opened. My bad, I hit the button. Anyway, so yeah, he's banging on the door and the door eventually, the bus door eventually opens. And he goes inside. And we're just sitting there like, wow, this dude is like dead serious. I mean, he's gonna get in trouble. That's all we're thinking is like, he's just gonna get in trouble. It's not our problem, you know, we're just laughing about it. And we're like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, no, man, I gotta go. I got a meeting. I gotta go. And he's just like swinging this bottle around. So like all the liquid, all the Jim Beam that was in there, it's just flying all over the place. And so we're like, dang, this dude is going to get like, I don't know what's going to happen when the bus driver gets back because he's going to be pissed. So the guy, eventually he sits down and we're still not thinking too much of it. You know what I mean? Because there's no way this dude was gonna, you know, take off with this bus right now because the bus driver wasn't on the bus. In our minds, that meant that there's no keys in there, there's no auto start, nothing. Like everything is fine. Like this dude is just wasting his time. He's being belligerent. He's just being freaking drunk. And then eventually he like walks down the stairs. He's like, hey, I'm about to go. You guys want to go? I'll take you wherever you need to go, but I gotta go to this meeting. You guys want to go? And we're like, no, we'll just sit out here. That's fine. And he's like, okay, I can't wait any longer. I gotta go. So then he goes in, he sits down, he shuts the door, and we're just sitting there like, wow, this bus driver is taking a long time. Like, where is the bus driver? And all of a sudden we hear the bus rev up. We're like, he left the keys in the freaking ignition. Like, are you serious? So like as soon as we hear the bus start to rev up, that's when like all of us, there's like 6 of us at this bus stop right now. And we all kind of just went into like instant, like, no, like we got serious. Like, no, everything was happening so fast. We're like, we can't let this dude leave. Like, that's something we cannot do. Like, now we have to put our game faces on. And mind you, like everything that happens from this point on happened in a span of like 30 seconds to a minute. So me and Joey jump up along with this other guy. I don't know who he is, but he jumps up and Joey's like, oh my gosh, did he say he was going to the bathroom? The bus driver say he was going to the bathroom? And like, yeah, he said he's going to the bathroom. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go get the bus driver. So Joey takes off. That's the last time I saw Joey. I'll tell you about that later, but that is the last time I saw Joey. I didn't see Joey ever again after that. He went to go get the bus driver, and this dude never returned. So Joey goes, he hops over the wall, and he goes jetting towards the bathroom to go try and find the bus driver and tell him, you know, you need to get back here because this drunk dude is trying to take your bus right now. He's trying to take the bus. And so the other guy that's sitting next to me, that was sitting on the other side of me, he jumps up and he's like, we can't let him go. You know, I'm going to call the cops. And for some reason in this area, like, there's no problem. Like, cell service is totally fine at Green River, like, despite all the trees and stuff. But for some reason, like, over by the bus stop and the English building offices, like, right there, it's just like a dead zone. It's like, you don't get signal, like, period. Your phone, doesn't matter who your carrier is, your phone goes into, like, instant roaming, and, like, you just cannot use your phone. So the guy that's sitting next to me, he's like, he's gonna go call the cops. We can't let him go. Try not to let him go. And meanwhile, like, we're all shouting at each other. So we're all just like went into like, we can't let this dude leave mode. So I'm shouting at dude like, yeah, go. And the guy takes off in the other direction, down towards the end of the street. So, you know, he's trying to get a signal on his phone so he can call the cops. And I go over to the bus door and I start banging on it. I'm like, hey. The only thing I could think to do was like try and make him open the door. Like, I just needed him to open the door, and I was gonna try. I don't know if I was gonna try and like take the keys out, make it stop, knock this dude out. I have no idea. I just knew like I needed this guy to open the door. So I was like, hey, I want to get on. I changed my mind. It's cold out here. You know, open the door. And you hear him. He's like, huh? What do you mean? I gotta go. And I'm like, no, open the door. I want to get on. And like, he's trying to open the door. I could see him trying to like mess with all the buttons that were there, but he wasn't getting the door open. So eventually he's like, I'm sorry, I gotta go. I got a meeting. I gotta go. And he still has like this big ass bag of Jim Beam, and he's just like taking swigs of it and just like being belligerent. And eventually, he just like floors it, and the bus jerks. Like, I think he still had it in park, maybe like the parking brake, because it didn't go like super far, but it went like a good 5 feet. like just psh, like extra fast. I'm like, oh my god, you know, and it like runs over the curb and like just like hopping, you know, he's going super fast though, and I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god, like, just like kind of freaking out. Meanwhile, these other two girls are just sitting there screaming. Like, that's all these other girls were doing. They're just freaking screaming. It pissed me off so bad. Like, you guys did nothing. You were no help. Anyway, eventually, like, the guy, he jets off. Excuse me, he jets off, like, this 5-6 feet, and the bus suddenly just stops. He stops the bus, he turns the bus off, and he comes out. And I'm just like, what the hell? So I run over there a little bit. I'm like, what happened? He's like, I forgot something, but I gotta go. I got this meeting, I gotta go though. And he's like swinging his bottle around. And I'm like backing up a little bit because I'm like, I'm not trying to get like splashed with alcohol right now. That's what's not happening. And like, so he's just like, yeah, I gotta go, but I forgot something. Meanwhile, like as soon as I don't know where I left off. This is stupid. Anyways, yeah, so the guy, he comes out, he's telling me that he forgot something, and so, but he still has to go. But at least he got off the bus. He just pretty much crashed into the freaking curb with this bus. And I'm just like sitting there just trying not to get doused with freaking, with booze. And at the same time, that's when the bus driver finally, like, he comes back. And he's just like confused because he knows that the bus is not where he left it. So he's just like, what the hell is happening here? Like, what happened to the bus? You know, like what happened? The girls are still sitting there freaking screaming. And like, this guy, he took it. Yeah, like just screaming. He's like, what are you guys talking about? And he comes over and I'm like, this dude right here, like, I don't know. He got on the bus and then he started driving away. And the guy's like, are you the bus driver? We gotta go, but I forgot something. So the guy's like, you got on my bus, I can have you arrested. And so he's like arguing with this guy, like hardcore arguing with this guy. And so they're sitting there just like arguing, whatever. And meanwhile, the bus driver, he's like, you know what, I'll deal with this. You guys can go sit on the bus. I'll deal with this right now. So without thinking, because I know, like I said, once this bus leaves or doesn't leave, I have to wait 2 hours before another bus comes. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get on this bus. It's fine. I know it smells of alcohol because this dude's swinging around everywhere, but I just want to go home at that point because I'm just like, there's way too much excitement for me right now. And so we get on the bus, and the guy and the bus driver are still outside arguing. And meanwhile, the other dude that ran down the street to call the cops, he gets on the bus and he's like, okay, the cops say they're on their way. They would like us to hold the bus if we can, tell the bus driver to stay here so they can take this guy. And we're like, okay, well, he's out there arguing with the bus driver, so it should be fine. Whatever. This is when it gets just wow. Just wow. And why I say that this bus got hijacked. So, I don't know what transpired to make the bus driver leave again. Like the keys are still in the bus, right? Still didn't realize that the keys are still on the bus. The bus driver leaves again. I'm assuming he's going to the office, back to the bathroom, who knows, but he leaves. And then I have no idea where the drunk guy went for a little while. This was like in a span of like 2 minutes. And but eventually we're all just sitting there on the bus. The door's still open and we're just waiting to leave, but like everything got quiet. And then eventually someone else gets on the bus. Guess who got on the bus? It was the drunk guy. So he gets on the bus, still swinging his booze around, and sits in the driver's seat on this bus. And instantly, I'm up. Like, the girls, they just start screaming again. The guy, I don't know, he's up. He's ready to go jump this dude because you're like, no. Now we're on the bus. You are not taking this bus. We're not going for a ride. Oh, my God. But, of course, we didn't want to startle him because we didn't want him to just floor it out of nowhere. But he did it so fast. Once he got on the bus, he was so fast with it. He got on the bus, he sat down, he shut the door, and instantly floored it. We're like, oh my god, this is it. Like, we're gonna die. Because he's going, like, from 0 to hella fast out of nowhere. And, like, he's just darting it down this road. So we're sitting there trying to yell at him. It's like, sir, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. And he's still swinging his bottle around. Eventually, he throws it back at us because he's just like, you guys gotta sit down. You gotta sit down. And it just, like, flies out of his hand. So there's just, like, booze everywhere. And, like, oh my god, it was just chaos. So we're sitting there just like, if we can just get him, like, we don't care. We didn't want other people to get hurt at that point. It was just like, it was too late for us. We just like thought like, this is our fate right now. But we gotta stop this dude from hurting other people, basically, because he's like reckless driving. He's drunk. He's going hella fast. He's swerving. They're like, we have to stop this bus right now. Like, we have to stop this bus. So we know that there's a pole that's like it's like right before the stoplight that's over at the very end of the driveway. So he's swerving and he's hitting like the curb and all that stuff. So we're like, okay, if we can just get him to swerve into that pole, it'll stop the bus. Like, this, it was a pretty big pole. So we were pretty sure that would stop the bus, because like there was no other way. That for us, in our minds, this is what we had to do. Like, we had to crash this bus right now. So the dude goes and runs to the front, and he's grabbing the wheel, and he's trying to steer the guy like onto the curb. Like, that's what he's trying to do. Like, there's nobody passing on this on the sidewalks at all. So it was fine. So he's trying to steer the dude onto the curb, and he's fighting it because he has to go to this freaking meeting. Like, what meeting are you going to? AA? Like, oh my god. You're failing. So, but god, it was a travesty. So we didn't crash into anything except for onto the curb, because once we crashed onto the curb, the dude swerved off of it like fast, and he was just over it. Like, he was tired of people fighting with him. So he stopped the bus at that point. He stopped it and got off and sat on the curb. Like, that's all he wanted to do. I guess he was like burnt out. I don't know. He sat on the curb. We're sitting there like just in awe. Like, what the hell just happened right now? We could have died. Or did we die? Like, what just happened? His booze is still just leaking all over the floor. Like, it is like literally covering the floor. This was a very big bottle of Jim Beam that he had, and he drank at least a fourth of it. Probably from like his walk up the hill to get to where we were. Who knows? So I go to the front because I'm like, I'm not taking this bus anymore. Like, I'm over it. I cannot take this bus anymore. So we go, and I go to the front of the bus. I could see the bus driver like running up towards us. I take the keys out of the ignition because someone needed to take the freaking keys out of this freaking ignition. Like, what in the hell? So I took the keys out. I got off the bus. I gave the keys to the bus driver. I'm like, I don't know what the hell just happened. I'm gonna go wait for the other bus. And I didn't wait for the 2-hour bus. There's another bus that came, which I can take to go home, but it just goes to like, it goes to Kent, and it takes a very long ride. It basically meant I had to take 3 buses to get home. And that was fine with me because I was going home. I went home and I took a nap. Meanwhile, like I said, never saw Joey again. And actually never saw that bus driver again. Can all pretty much guess what happened to that bus driver. It was pretty reckless. I do remember I had to go to the office and basically tell them what happened. So I did that real fast, and then I took the other bus, and I eventually went home. So what happened to Joey? So what we didn't know is, like, yes, the bus driver did go to the bathroom, and there is a bathroom that's like literally right on the other side of the wall, which is where I believe Joey went. But the bathroom was closed off, like it was flooded or something. So the bus driver went to the bathroom that was like clear across freaking campus, I guess. And Joey just went like place to place where he knew the bathrooms were to try and find him, and never did. Obviously, he ended up going to the office, and telling the office, look, this is what's happening. There's a drunk guy. He's like basically trying to steal this bus, and he's starting it, and we don't want him to hurt anybody. And the office didn't know what he was talking about. So they held Joey there, and they called the cops too. And so basically that was the end of Joey. So yeah, it was a funny, I kind of told the story all over the place, mainly because this kept shutting off, but that is what happened. That was the time that my bus got hijacked. We didn't die. Nobody died. No one got hurt. That's what matters. But yeah, I guess after that, Joey never took the bus again, and that's why I never saw Joey again, because I only saw him because we rode the morning bus together, and sometimes the late bus when I didn't have the late shift. So yeah, I just wanted to never forget that again, so I wanted to put that in a video and be like, dude, do you remember that time your bus got hijacked? Anyways, Lady Valor out. Stay beautiful.